Hi, this is Roy Kamida, the coordinator for Leeward College's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. And what you're looking at is my personal homepage that you can get to by typing in this URL address. Now, instead of typing it out, if you receive any email from me, at the bottom of that email message is my name. And if you click on my name, it'll take you to my personal homepage. And as a tax volunteer, probably the main link you want to click on here on my page is this volunteer tax. They'll take you to Leeward College's volunteer tax homepage that has lots of information, including this link here for taxpayers. If you want to guide taxpayers to come to our Leeward site to have their tax return prepared, here's some dates and times. We're open to the public, some driving instructions to get here, and the main thing is the items they need to bring so we can prepare their tax return, including a photo ID. We now require all taxpayers, all spouses, if they're filing a joint return, to see a photo ID, and if not, we're going to send them home to get one. Okay, so guide taxpayers who are interested in having their returns prepared here at Leeward to this link. And you as a volunteer probably want to eventually click on this link for a schedule for the dates and times you plan to volunteer. And I'll have probably a sign-up sheet going at our first volunteer training in January. And if you can't come to the training, make sure you email me with the dates and times that you plan to volunteer. Usually we're going to be open for all Saturdays during the months of February and March from 9 to 1 o'clock. Maybe a little earlier if we have more volunteers showing up earlier. And also Tuesdays and Thursdays for March from, I believe, 1:30 to 5:30 in the afternoons. Okay, so I'll have a sign-up sheet going in our first training date in January. So some other links here. Eventually the video you're looking at will be linked here, Orientation Video 2013. I'll keep this old practice lab video from the previous year, and I'll tell you why in a minute. The online resources here, really scrolling down to the bottom of my homepage, the main link is this one called VITA TCE Central. This link right here. So here is the main place you can get training and certification. To get directly to this site, you can type in this address, this second URL here, linklearncertification.com/d, where here on the right side are links to resources, and here on the left side is the online certification test people have to pass to prepare to volunteer. Okay, so this one book kind of represents basic level training, 2 books is intermediate, and 3 would be advanced. Even though basic is kind of long, I encourage people to take the intermediate and hopefully the advanced levels because they're shorter, possibly even easier than the basic level. And this coming year, you cannot review your own returns. You always have to have a return you prepare reviewed by someone else, either at the intermediate or advanced level. So if you want to contribute more, you can help review other preparers' returns by passing at least the intermediate level. And I will kind of demonstrate logging into this website in a couple minutes. But here on the right side again are resources. So if you want to download the training guide, this link here, I already downloaded it. It kind of again sorts the training by basic and intermediate and advanced levels. So first take the basic level training and then go ahead and try the basic level exam. And then once you pass, then go through the intermediate training and so forth. Look how long this document is, 400 pages, but you're not going to go through all 400 pages if you're just doing basic level. Now if you want to get some training online instead of downloading the PDF file, I kind of do this myself each year, this Link and Learn Tax Lessons. Here, this first link here, where it chops up the training material into slides. So here's a course introduction for the basic level. So here's the first slide, and you can click on the next button after reading the slide. Next. And so forth. It kind of chunks things into more manageable screens to read. but it's very hard then to go back to a previous screen to find information again, so that's why the PDF file may be more useful. Okay, so that's, and you can see the different levels of training lessons here for Link and Learn. That's this Link and Learn tax lessons, kind of comparable to this training guide here. Now before you take the tests online here, you can take the exact same tests by this PDF files. So here's the downloaded version. It has both tests and retest questions. So you go through the tests and retest questions, let's say for the basic level first, and when you feel comfortable, only then would you go online and take the same tests here, the certification site. Then move on to the intermediate level tests and retest questions, and then again do the same thing online with the answers you already have on your PDF version. Now when you do take the tests, when you answer test questions, it's first going to require you for some questions to prepare tax returns, and I encourage you to do that using this tool here called Practice Lab, where you first have to log in by typing in a universal password. So if you've been a volunteer for the past few years, you know the password, or if you remember the password, it's the same thing. Let me spell it out for you here. Okay, got that? So let me type it in here. So after you type it in, it's going to ask you to log in again using your user ID and zip code. So if you haven't been to the Practice Lab site this tax season, you're going to have to create a new user account where you have to type in a zip code, any zip code. It doesn't have to be your actual one, but you have to remember it, otherwise you can't log back in again, and an email address. And when you click on this user ID button, either on the screen or maybe emailed to you, it's going to be a 6-digit user ID number that you're going to have to use with that zip code you had entered to log into the Practice Lab site. And now you can start preparing returns. So I'll have another video showing you how to use Practice Lab, really using the 2011 data. I think it's going to be pretty much as the 2012, which they're not ready. In fact, I'm doing this recording right now at the end of December 2012, and as of this date, the tax laws for 2012 have not been finalized. Congress is still meeting in the past couple of days of the end of the year to finalize tax laws, and only then can the IRS print out instructions for us to prepare tax returns. So basically, to get certified, all the materials you're looking at is 2011 rules. And if you come to the training, hopefully we'll have some updated 2012 rules. Definitely by the time we start preparing returns in February, we should have some updated information, updated rules. Okay, so again, I'll have a separate video linked on my Leeward College tax site to prepare to work with Practice Lab. Again, you can access it right over here. So let's say that you want this training guide and this test and retest on paper. So go ahead and drop by my office or my secretary's office beginning January 2nd during business hours, and you can pick up a set of the printed guides. If you were a volunteer last year, the training guide is exactly the same we're passing out now, 2011. The test and retest, again, you can see the test and retest. You can see the year here, 2012, but pretty much it's the same questions, exactly the same scenarios in the previous year. So if you have your last year's book, you can pretty much just use that, the answers from that, to answer these questions here in the 2012, slightly worded differently this year than the previous year, but same rules, same scenarios. So let's say that you're now ready after doing the test, retest questions for that level on paper, on PDF form. Now go ahead and do it online. You first have to set up or create an account each year, and I've done that already. So let's see if I can log in here by typing in my username. I know you cannot see my secret password here, and I'm logging in, and you can see I've already passed this test called Volunteer Standards of Conduct. You can go through the training here. You can download some PDF files here for standards of conduct and review it, something like 20 pages. And then you can go online and take the test here. In fact, I'll show you the test questions. Here's the questions, and you can see I got it correct, but they don't even tell you what the correct answers are. Okay, pretty much the same as the previous year. And then I'm ready to take the basic test, which I haven't even started yet, you can see. But for each test you have 2 attempts to pass 80% of the questions. So again, make sure you do it on paper first, and only then you can go online. Let me see if I can launch it already. I haven't done this yet. I'll get started. I'm assuming I did the basic exam, and here is the first question. I'll just guess here. True. And I can move on to the next question. So this question here is either coming from the test or retest questions in the booklet, in the PDF form or the printed form. So all I have to do is just see what I answered on paper and mark it off here. Now, don't submit it. Let's see if I can go to, there should be about 30 questions here. I'm not going to submit it, yeah? Otherwise, I'm going to use up one of my 2 chances. So let me close this box, and you can see I still have 0 attempts here. I'm in progress. Again, you have 2 attempts to pass it at a passing rate of 80%. And then you can move on to the next level, intermediate. And then the next level. And again, I encourage you to do so because intermediate and advanced, I think, are shorter, are simpler than the basic level. But everyone who wants to prepare returns as a volunteer has to pass the basic level. Everyone that wants to volunteer, be it preparers or not, has to pass this volunteer standards of conduct exam. And you get to print out your certificate after you pass it, after each exam. Now, when on the first date you volunteer, no matter where you volunteer, you have to print out this volunteer agreement form. Finish it off and you sign it and you give it to the site coordinator. Okay, is it coming? I think I need to download it here. So this is what I want to get from you, not the printed certificates. That's you to frame and hang up on your wall. Okay, so finish off the information here, sign and date. And the main thing I'm going to be looking at is your test scores. Did you pass basic at what percent? P for pass, yeah? Again, you got to pass at least basic if you want to prepare returns. You got to pass at least intermediate if you want to be able to review other people's returns. And you cannot review your own like in past years. I'm going to have to sign off over here and keep this for our records in case we get checked by the IRS. Okay, they're getting more stricter. Again, as of this date right now, I'm recording this video. The rules have not yet been finalized for 2012. So maybe I'll try to introduce those new rules. Any last minute, they call it patches or extensions at our training. January 12th and 19th on the Leeward College campus from 8 to 4. The second date we'll probably get some hands-on training using a practice version, not practice lab, but the TaxWise online version that we're going to be using throughout the season at our Leeward College site. So make sure you confirm with me by email that you're coming to the training sessions if you haven't done so yet. Otherwise, if you have any questions, I'm online here, Kamida at hawaii.edu.